What will be the pros and cons of President Marcos charting a friendly stance in his independent foreign policy? Let's break them down with analyst Enrico Gloria, joining us now in our studios. Professor, thank you so much for joining us, breaking down, taking a look at what President Marcos Jr. said. They will not abandon even a square inch of territory of the Republic of the Philippines. What do you make of this?
Well, for me, since this is the first SONA of PBBM, it was really refreshing to hear that commitment, if you will, to basically protect the rights of the Filipinos in West Philippine Sea. But at the same time, you also have to consider, kasi we've come from that context where in the past 6 years, really the rhetoric that we've been hearing is to basically sideline the arbitral ruling. So coming from that context, it's quite refreshing to hear that commitment. And as you've said, I think in my observation, it garnered the longest standing applause
Yeah, that's right.
During the entire SONA. So, but again, we're assessing the SONA as it is. And the President has not yet reached the 1 month mark. So it remains to be seen whether there will be substantial follow-through. Because if you compare it in the previous first SONA, for instance, of former President Duterte, he was also saying the same rhetoric, that the arbitral award will be respected, etc. But we all know what happened after then.
So by saying won't surrender an inch of territory, why does he not add right after that the arbitral ruling? Politically sensitive.
Yes.
Or maybe it's not just time.
Sensitive, but at the same time, again, it happens in a bigger context. And just last week or a couple of weeks ago, his Foreign Secretary, Enrique Manalo, basically released a statement where there it was categorically stated that when it comes to our approach in the West Philippine Sea, the arbitral award is an anchor or a foundation. So there's already the meat that we're looking for. But again, it's not really politically safe at this time to qualify or to insert the arbitral award. And as you've seen, during that foreign policy section, the immediate follow-up was that we will remain close friends or partners with everyone else. So there's that balancing act in the SONA.
And I was speaking last week to Lee Kuan Yew's School of Public Policy former Dean Kishore Mobabani, who was the former president of the United Nations Security Council. And he was also telling me it's a win-win situation for President Marcos Jr. to keep this independent foreign policy because he can, jockey for assets or with both the United States and with China.
Right. I agree, And I think he also mentioned that we will continue with the independent foreign policy. But this time he added a particular phrase, and that would be to make national interest the primordial basis. And for me, I'm really optimistic with that. In the interpretation for me is that we're gonna see more of the arbitral award take center stage when it comes to our policy with China.
But do you think President Marcos Jr. will implement it during his 6-year term? Do you see it happening?
I think there's going to be progress in that, especially with Secretary Manalo at the helm of DFA. I think there's going to be substantial progress if we're basing it from what the previous administration has done. But with respect to how it will look like, considering that we're also committed in deepening the relations with China, it really remains to be seen. And for me, I hate to sound like an idealist, but it's really trying to get the best of both worlds at this point, which is for me not really a bad thing to aim for. Just like what Professor Kishore Mabubani has said, I think it's really the right direction at this point, or basically the logical foreign policy direction for the Philippines.
Let's take a look at recent news that developed regarding China's infrastructure projects here in the Philippines. They backed out from a three multi-billion infrastructure projects that raises flags about a relationship with the mainland. Does this concern you about China-Philippine relations?
Well, I would input there the recent visit of Foreign Minister Wang Yi. I think that in itself promised some certain cooperative agreements with the Philippines in other areas. So given that particular visit, the developments last week when we said that we would reconsider the rail deals with China, I think it's just simply part of the overall economic plan of the administration, because the interest rates from what I've heard, it's not really that competitive. No? So it really warrants a revisit, if you will, of being more prudent in these loans that we're getting in.
But is China also telling us, hey, you have to take sides here? It's either the United States or us. If you don't take our side, then you may have to think twice. We will pull out on some of the key infrastructure projects that we have partnered with you, and that is of course also one of the key projects of the Marcos administration to continue the build programs of the former Duterte administration.
Definitely. I think I have the same perspective on that. I mean, China will definitely continue to flex its economic muscle to sort of get the Philippines on its side. But from the Philippines' perspective, there are just many sources of funding at this point. You have PPPs, more competitive interest rates from other sources of concessional loans. So China is not the only source. And if I may add, China is not even the top source of ODA at this point in the Philippines.
What about the relationship with the United States, with President Joe Biden? Joe Biden inviting the president to the U.S. How will this help the U.S.-Philippine bilateral relations?
Well, at this point, except for the campaign period, I mean, in the SONA, the president was silent about the alliance. So it's still really at the wait-and-see moment with the United States. But based from his recent pronouncements, I think he's going to adopt a friendlier approach to the United States and securing the alliance.
International Relations Policy Expert, Professor Enrico Gloria. Thank you so much for your insights on President Marcos Jr.
My pleasure.
State of the Nation address.
Thank you.